Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Knowlton, Dr. No for short. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Stephen Luking. Dr. Luking is now running for the North Carolina Senate seat currently occupied by Phil Berger. Steve and I go back many years. Both of us practiced family medicine in Reedsville and admitted patients to Annie Penn Hospital. Steve has been chief of staff and chair of the hospital board in addition to his clinical duties. Both of us have seen the damage that the lack of medical insurance has done to people here in Rockingham County. Both of us know the importance of a good public education system. Steve entered into politics because of his concern about these and other problems we currently have in North Carolina. Steve, to get started, please tell our viewers what you feel the 3 or 4 most urgent problems are in this district and how your approach to these problems differs from the Republican candidate, Sam Page.
First, thanks for having me today, Steve.
Oh.
Thank you. So I'd say now that Medicaid has been expanded, my most urgent concern is public school funding. Over the last 15 years, under the leadership of the Republican-led General Assembly, so-called leadership, our public school funding has dropped to dead last in the nation. 50th,
No kidding.
50th. If we were just 25th in the nation, our school system here in Rockingham County and throughout the district would have almost $4,000 more per student. I've heard so many stories about parents and grandparents frustrated that their kids are having substitute teachers or that teachers are leaving to go elsewhere or even going into other professions because they can't afford to teach in our community. So right away I will turn that around. How I differ from Sam Page, he has refused to criticize the latest expansion in the voucher program. And the latest voucher expansion is out of control. You're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars, mostly going to wealthy families, folks making $115,000 or more, to send their kids to private academies. And in addition to that, the vast majority of families taking care of that or taking advantage of that have never utilized public education at all. So basically, taxpayers are funding the wealthy to send their kids to the fancy private academies while we're going without.
So let me get this straight. A voucher system is such that the state of North Carolina is sending a check to a family for their kid to go to a private school, but not a public school.
Absolutely. And all the while telling our public schools that they have no money to fund us at better than 50th in the nation.
Gotcha.
And that's shameful. That's shameful. As far as my next priority, it would be medical care access and medical care affordability. And there, once again, I have some pretty stark differences with Sam Page. The rural areas desperately need Medicaid and Medicare to support our hospitals, our physicians, our patients. And it's not just those who are on Medicare or who are on Medicaid, it's all of us. So Page came out all for this so-called big, beautiful bill. And I heard you reference it.
Oh, the big, beautiful billionaires bill.
Where the vast majority of the tax savings go towards incredibly wealthy folks. Well,
so with the system, when is the big, beautiful billionaires bill supposed to take effect?
yeah, well, most of the pain intentionally doesn't kick in until after the midterm elections. But over the next 10 years, North Carolina will lose $40 billion in Medicaid and Medicare support, and all the experts are saying we're at much higher risk of losing our hospitals to bankruptcy. And when we lose a hospital in a rural area, what happens is it's not just the poor folks or the folks on Medicaid or folks on Medicare for that matter who are hurting. All of us hurt. When a community loses their rural hospital, the mortality rate goes up 5% for everyone because you don't have the emergency room access, but you also don't have the clinicians and the specialists that, as you and I know, came to our community because we had such a vibrant hospital with Annie Penn.
So even if I don't have Medicaid, for example, if I'm driving out I-40 towards the west and I have a heart attack and I go to see where the nearest hospital is, and the hospitals are all gone because they've gone
Yeah.
broke.
You're out of luck, and as you and I know, there's a golden hour there where intervention early on much improves your chances.
So it
of
affects everybody, in
Oh,
fact, not
absolutely.
just Medicare or Medicaid, but everybody, even people with good jobs right now.
All of us are hammered by that. So, and also, sadly, Page came out against Medicaid expansion in the primary, criticizing Berger for finally deciding to expand Medicaid.
What was Medicaid expansion going to do?
Medicaid expansion has provided health care to 700,000 North Carolinians. Mostly, these weren't folks hanging out. These were working poor people who deserve, I think, good health care every bit as much as you and I. And once again, supporting the hospitals, the healthcare systems in the rural and in the urban areas.
So the
It's
hard-working people who just couldn't afford medical insurance,
Yeah.
as I think many of our viewers know already.
And don't forget, most of the folks in nursing homes eventually are covered by the Medicaid system to cover the lion's share of nursing home care. And sooner or later, most of us end up needing an element of that towards the end of our lives.
Sure.
Yeah. The last thing that I'm really hammering hard on is tax fairness. In the last 15 years, the Republican-led General Assembly, and even though, yes, Sam Page has went against Phil Berger, you can bet 95% of the time he's going to be folding in with the Republicans and their voting patterns. They have made taxes much more regressive. They have cut.
What is a regressive tax?
Regressive basically means that middle-class folks, regular income folks, are paying now a higher percentage of their income to taxes, and working class folks are paying a higher percentage of their income to taxes, whereas folks making your or my prior salary or higher are laughing all the way to the bank as they get major cuts. Corporation tax rates in North Carolina are now amongst the lowest in the nation. Meanwhile, we're seeing local communities and municipalities and counties having to jack up property tax rates in order to provide fire care or police officer support or road building or
So
public
all of
schools.
all these tax increases on property in the last year or two in Rockingham County, and probably in Guilford County as well, may have come from this.
Absolutely coming from it, and it's only going to get worse. They would love to see a time where we would end up like Tennessee, where right now folks are paying 9% sales tax on everything they purchase in Tennessee.
Whoa.
We don't need to do that. So we need to have corporations, and we need to have the wealthy pay their fair share and give regular folks a break.
I understand. Well, I think all of you have seen what Steve is standing for, and I hope you consider voting for him.
Thanks,
Thank you
Steve.
for coming.
Thank you.